Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a Chatty Get Ready with me. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my vacation and do a look that was pretty standard for me on my vacation. However, I forgot my makeup mirror at my parents' house 7 hours away, so I'm going to be using a mirror from my Violet Voss palette, and we'll see how that goes because I don't typically use that mirror. I'm blind without my glasses, so I need a mirror that's lit and close up to my face, and I don't know that this is going to work out so hot, but we'll see. So, I started every application of makeup with this Coola Sport SPF 50 that I got in my FabFitFun box. I started off every application with this because not only of the SPF, but also because it's kind of a moisturizer, and it worked out really well. My face did not get burnt, my shoulders got burnt, my chest got burnt, but the rest of my face did not, and that is good because you don't want to burn your face. So we started out the vacation in Disneyland. That was our first day was spent in Disneyland, and that was cool. We've been there a couple times now. Well, I've been there 3 times, but this was my daughter's second trip, and it was what she wanted to do for her senior trip. So it is what we did. The hotel that we stayed in was not awful, but it also was not amazing. So I'm going to zoom you guys in closer, I think. Not that I want to, because I look like dog poop right now. So I'm going to go in next with this Becca Backlight Priming Filter. I did take this on my vacation. It is just a deluxe sample size, so it fit right in with the amount of liquid product that they wanted you to take. I took far more than I needed to, I feel like, but it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't awful either. They certainly spoke themselves up in the ad because they boasted a continental breakfast, which actually ended up just to be little tiny muffins, and you could get blueberry or banana nut or chocolate chip. So my daughter's allergic to blueberries, I'm allergic to nuts, and I can't stand chocolate. Right, yes, you heard me correctly. I do not like chocolate. So and they kept all the muffins in the same place. They weren't even on different shelves. So you couldn't, I couldn't pick up a chocolate chip muffin without it having been in the same vicinity as the banana nut ones. So it was real sketchy. There was no way. And their coffee. So it was muffins and coffee. That's not a continental breakfast. If you ask me, every single hotel I've ever been to that boasts a continental breakfast actually has things like, waffle makers and actual breakfast foods besides that. Yogurt. I would have even liked yogurt. Would have been great. But, and their coffee was disgusting. So we didn't eat breakfast there ever. So we went to Disneyland day 1. I am using the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. This also has some SPF in it. It's SPF 30. I'm using Bamboo. I love this stuff as a BB cream because it's got great SPF in it. It's a nice tint of color, and it goes on your face really, really well. I like to put it on, kind of smear it out, and then go over it with a beauty blender or with a blender of some sort. I feel like it goes on best that way. So we didn't eat breakfast there at all. There was 0 water pressure in our room. 0 water pressure. It was super fun. But we made it work. It wasn't wholly bad. It was just, you know, inconvenient sometimes for some of the stuff we were doing. I couldn't do my makeup very well in that room because the portion of the space that was the mirror was halfway taken up with a refrigerator and a microwave, so, and there wasn't great light, so I had to, you know, just kind of make do with my makeup mirror. And in that dark space, it was shining on my face more blue than it was anything else, so that was difficult. It was very weird. So I just kind of winged it and hoped that my makeup looked okay. It looked okay. I didn't really put on much because it was so hot down there. Day one we spent in Disneyland, and that was really nice. We got to go on all the rides that we wanted to, and these days they're doing the fast passes on your phone, so it's called Max Pass, and it's $10 per Disneyland ticket, so it's $30, and you can get all the fast passes to the rides that you want to ride on your phone, so that was convenient. So we did that, and about, I don't know, halfway through the day we had ridden like a lot of rides, and I was super proud of my mom because she was riding rides that I wouldn't normally see her ride. It was a lot of fun. We were having a great time. The night before we had bought some Sanuk sandals, which are the ones that they're made of yoga mats, and they have the straps that go around your foot, and I think that I probably could have gone a size smaller. I think my mom probably could have gone a size smaller. I was talking to some lady and I was walking backwards and it got caught on the railroad ties, the railroad tracks that go through there for the trolleys, and it flipped off my foot and I almost fell on my face. So like we were like, we need to be careful with these devil sandals. My mom, and I laugh at it now, and I was actually laughing at it then too, I'm not gonna lie, it was really horrible of me as a daughter. But you know how when people get hurt you just laugh nervously because you don't know what else to do? I'm gonna go in next with this Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. The devil sandals got the best of her and she tripped, and then instead of just falling down, she actually ran into her fall. And it was really wild, but like I was like, Mom, are you okay? And my daughter had been paying attention to something else and turned just in time to see my mom on the ground. And she didn't know what had happened. So halfway through our trip, this Bye Bye Under Eye stopped working for me because you can see like the color difference. It's horrible. So I actually started using the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Corrector in Light, which happens to be a little bit darker. This one is light as well, but it's not, that is quite a bit lighter. But you see how light this is. It's absolutely insane. So she fell. My daughter turned just in time to see her on the ground. Well, then she sits up. When she sat up, by the time she had fallen and sat up, there were 5 cast members on us. Like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Is everything okay? Let's take you to the infirmary. Let's get you. She was bleeding. Her sunglasses, her face kind of hit the pavement first. And her sunglasses had cut her head open. I'll insert a picture up here. So they're like, your head is bleeding. Let's take you to the infirmary. We need to make sure that you're okay. So I'm walking with her and making sure that she's walking okay, because God knows she hit pretty hard and she could have had a concussion. I don't think that she ended up with a concussion, but because she seemed to be fine after, you know, a couple hours. I'm walking with her and I turn around and my daughter is standing behind her, just laughing, just laughing. God, you guys, do you see this? The color difference is absolutely insane. She's just cracking up, and I'm like, why are you laughing? And she just goes, who did that? And I'm like, who did what? And she's like, just who did that? So apparently this was a private joke between her and my mother. So I just start laughing because my daughter is laughing. And because I was laughing, I let go of my mom because I didn't want her to know I was laughing. Well, then she looks back and Zoe and I are laughing so hard. Like, the poor cast member probably thought we were the most evil people on the planet because we were laughing so hard. Like, literally. Oh, I just felt so bad. After the fact, though, I mean, really, it was kind of funny. Like, she tripped, and I watched in slow-mo as she ran into her fall, like 5 feet ran into her fall, straight into the pavement. And then when she sat up, she was trying to hold her glasses onto her face, and they were now in 2 pieces. So she was holding, like, so these are her sunglasses, say. This piece had fallen off, and she was holding it and her glasses both on her face like this, and then shielding her eyes like this. And I'm like, are you okay? She's like, I'm so embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed too, but she was holding these broken ass glasses on her face. I'm like, give me those glasses, and I threw them away. Retrospect, it was kind of comical. So that kind of made up our day in Disney. Like, everything was great. And then she fell, and then she couldn't go on any other rides. We had a fast pass for Space Mountain, which was the first time I've been on Space Mountain ever. Space Mountain was amazing, but it was probably good that she didn't go on it because of her fall and the potential of a concussion. I mean, if you guys have ever been on that ride, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, it looks like you're going through space, and it's all like what they say about, like, people with seizure disorders, and if you have a seizure disorder, not to, like, stare at lights for that long and whatnot. Well, that's what this ride was like. So I'm really glad that she ended up not going on it. So the next thing I'm going to use is this Tarte Amazonian Clay Feisty. I took this with me, but I only used it like a couple times. So our next day was actually at an LA tour. It was an LA tour, and we didn't get home from Disneyland until, or well, we didn't get to the hotel from Disneyland until like midnight. I think the park closed at midnight. We went to downtown Disney for a little while afterwards, so we actually didn't get back to the hotel until like 1 a.m. Wow, that's a lot. So we get back to the hotel at 1 a.m., we go to sleep, and then we had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be down in LA for this tour. I'm going to go in with this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle, which is what I did there to just kind of, I love this because it just kind of makes everything just melt into your skin, or it kind of perfects everything. So we got up at 5 and we started getting ready for our day. We left at 7 because we had to be there at 9, we thought, and LA traffic takes forever, so we figured it was going to be like a 2-hour drive. So then we stop at Panera for breakfast, and it takes like 30 minutes for our breakfast. I am using the NYX Professional Makeup Precision Brow Pencil in Ash brown. I love this pencil. I bought it there and it is amazing. The brow pencil I brought was my NYX Micro, and it actually ran out while I was down there, so I did go into the Ulta and try and find a different one. They were out, so I just picked up this one. I love it. So my mom was freaking out because, what is this hair? My mom was freaking out because we were going to be late. And the GPS unit that we were using, which was actually our phones, also said that we were going to be late. So we get almost there. It's like we were supposed to be there at 8:45 for check-in. It's like 8:40. We're almost there. And she has my daughter call there, and she's like, hey, we need to know if this tour bus is leaving right at 9 and if it's going to be okay if we're a few minutes late, because we're trying to find a parking spot and we can't find one. And they're like, which we weren't even close to finding a parking spot yet. And they're like, oh, your tour doesn't leave until 9:30, so you're good. And we're like, yes, all of us in the car at the same time. So the tour guide's on the other side of the phone laughing at us because we were so ecstatic that the tour didn't leave until 9:30 and we weren't actually late. But the check-in time was 8:45, so I don't understand what that's all about. But so we get ourselves parked and we get out onto the street, and there's this guy out there, and he's like a comedian. He's selling these CDs, or well, we didn't know he was selling the CDs yet, but he's selling the CDs, and we're like talking to him, and he calls my daughter beautiful, and he hands like her a CD, and from that moment forward it was like, cool, we have, this guy is so nice, we have to buy this CD. So he's like, anything you can give, you know, if you're a rich person, $20, if you're not, like whatever you can give. We had no idea what we're doing. So we give him, you know, some money. He signs the CD. We think, cool. And in my head, I'm like, JD loves comedy. He's gonna love this. JD, my man, loves comedy. He's gonna love this. I'm just gonna give it to him. And we get on this tour bus. So we get on the tour bus and we go through the tour, and this is us, small town, you know, small town peeps. Well, like my parents were I'm from Seattle, but like I currently live in a small town. I have for quite some time. Small town peeps get on this bus, and we start going through stuff, and he drops us in areas where, you know, he wants us to look at stuff. I'm doing the Kat Von D locket, color correcting everlasting eyeshadow primer. Just, I took it because it is a solid. He's taking us to these places, and he's like, you don't ever want to come here at night. You don't ever want to go here at night. These are the things that happen here at night, you know, blah, 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 blah. And we're all, whoa, because like a lot of it is like areas that we would never think bad things happen at, because they're like areas that we've heard are amazing. So like Venice and Marina del Rey, and you go from block to block to block. And like he is saying, you know, these things happen here. Don't go in the bathroom here. Here you can go at Marina del Rey. Here you can go to the bathroom. Whereas 2 miles down the road, we're somewhere else, and he's like, don't use the bathrooms. Bathrooms don't even have doors because stuff happens in those bathrooms you don't want to be a member of. So we pull up to that place, and sure enough, there's no doors on the bathrooms. People are in there using the bathrooms. You can see them going to the bathroom as you're pulling up, but you can also see the homeless people sleeping in that bathroom right next to this person going to the restroom. It was just so sad. But so we get done there, and we head back to, you know, LA. Our tour was like 7 hours long. My daughter slept through a good portion of it, which is sad because she missed a lot of like history, but I don't think, you know, there's no 17-year-old in the world that's really interested in history. So, this is the palette I used the most while we were gone. It is my ColourPop Yes Please palette. I used it the most, so I'm going to use it today. So we get off the tour bus and he's like, I know it took you guys like 2 hours to get here. If you guys hang out for a little bit down here, then it probably won't take you that long to get back, because the traffic will be dissipated and you can just hang out down here and shop a little bit. Be wary of the men on the street handing you CDs, because as soon as that CD is in your hand, you need to pay them, and they're blank CDs. And I'm thinking, oh God, I already did this. Like, where were you 7 hours ago with that warning? I already did it. So I haven't watched the CD yet. I'm hoping that it's not a blank CD. We did look up the website that was on the CD cover, and he is selling CDs on this website as well. So I can't imagine that he is selling these CDs with nothing on it. But maybe he's selling CDs that actually have content online and then like selling CDs that don't have content on the streets of LA. I have no idea, but I haven't checked it yet. I did tell JD when I gave him, or before I gave him the CD, that there is a potential that there is nothing on this CD, but I paid $16 for it. I gave him 16 bucks, so stupid, dumb me. So we're walking around downtown. They're setting up for Pride, which was really cool to be a part of. And there were protesters on the side of the road talking about, you know, sins, and I have to assume that that's probably because they were setting up for Pride, which I think is absolutely ludicrous, but whatever. There were so many like protesters down there and like weirdos down there, and I'm not talking about normal everyday people. I'm talking about people dressed up like Spider-Man with tennis shoes on that want you to take their picture with them, only he's super fat and wearing a fanny pack and looks nothing like Spider-Man, so why would you want your picture taken with them? Like, those are the kind of people I'm talking about. I was like, my eyeballs had to be like, I don't know, the size of quarters walking around down there. And my daughter was holding her backpack. We both had little like backpacks that we were using instead of purses. She was holding hers on her the front of her body, so that, because we were warned of pickpocketers, holding her backpack on the front of her body and just looking at everything and walking around like, oh my God, we're gonna die. So we elected to go to a couple stores and then we left. I am glad that we left, because it was small town USA. Here I am, small town USA. From a big city, but this big city was way different than Seattle. Way different than Seattle. I would stick around till midnight in Seattle. In this city, there is no damn way. No damn way. So we ended up getting home from there. I don't know where else we went, but we didn't get home from there until like 11:30, I want to say. So we get home from the LA tour, well, back to the hotel from the LA tour, I think at about 11:30. I don't know why it took us so long to get home, but the entire ride home, my mom is like, Zoe's like, look at those guys in that car, look at what they're doing, and my mom is like, don't look at anybody. I mean, this guy from the tour had us terrified, which I don't think is a great idea to do when you're doing a tour, but whatever. He did his job. It was nice. It was a good tour. We saw where people live. We saw, you know, the La Brea Tar Pits. We saw a lot, and I'm really thankful for the tour, but I probably would never do it again just because, I don't know. It wasn't, we didn't spend very long in any one place. We got an hour for lunch in a flea market, which I don't think was very awesome because we didn't get to shop at all. Like, literally we ate and that was it. Okay, so we got home at like 9:30, 10:30, but then we went to the Cheesecake Factory for dinner, so that's why it took us so long. So we get done at the Cheesecake Factory, we go home, we go to bed. Our next day is at Universal Studios, which is almost in the same spot, but not. So we decided that we weren't going to get up early that day, that we were just going to like play it by ear and do whatever. So we got up at 8, we got ready to go, and we ended up at Universal Studios around 9:30. We're standing in line and they're talking to us about, you know, the VIP tour. I haven't been to Universal Studios since I was 9, so initially I was like, no way, we can't do this. It costs way too much money, because it did. It was very expensive. For the 3 of us, it was $660 extra on top of what we had already purchased our tickets for. And my mom really wanted to do it, but I was like, I'm the sensible one. I am the accountant. There's no way. Why do we need a VIP tour? So eventually this guy was talking to us for like the 3rd time we're being talked to about this. And so I was like, fine, let's do the VIP tour. Mom and I will split the money. And so it was like $330 a piece. I will never do Universal Studios again without doing that tour. That was the smartest thing that we could have done. We got to go on our own personal tram with a guide. We got to go through, actually get out and walk through studios and sets where shows film, and that was really cool. We got to be on, what were the shows?
Superstore.
And The Good Place. And The Good Place. We also got like personal tram time in like this King Kong thing, and that was cool. And Fast and the Furious. We did like this thing from Jaws, which was there when I was a kid, which is funny because I really firmly believe they should probably take that out at this point. It's old and decrepit, and it doesn't even look real anymore because things have changed so much. But then after that, she took us through the rides. We rode almost every ride. We went to Harry Potter World. That world was amazing. My daughter had a cow. My mom had a good time. The ride there was like flying through a game of Quidditch. It was really neat, and I would recommend it 100,000% over Disneyland, if I'm being honest. It was probably the best time of the trip. I had a great time overall, but that was where I had the most fun. We did a Transformers ride, and I remember when I was a kid actually having my picture taken with Optimus Prime, and he was so boxy at that point in time that the new Optimus Prime looked completely different. It was really weird, but the ride for it was no longer like this shanty like ride. It was actually a 4D experience. They give you these glasses and they put them on you, and because we had VIP passes, we actually got to go to the front of the line and we didn't have to wait in line, which was amazing. Kind of like the Fast Pass, only honestly I feel like better. The Transformers ride was so cool. It was my favorite ride. Like, we're in this car and it's all 4D, and a Decepticon is putting his hands on you, on your car, trying to take your car, and then here comes Optimus Prime and he like throws the Decepticon away from you, and then you're falling straight down this 50-story building straight down, and you feel like you're falling straight down this 50-story building, and then is it Optimus Prime or Bumblebee that saves you? I mean, it's just amazing. It was just an amazing experience. So that was my favorite ride there. With the VIP tour, you also got, you know, not only did you get your personalized air-controlled tram, so we had air conditioning, but you also got your own, like, guide, you got water whenever you wanted it, and you got food. So, like, you didn't have to buy food at all in the park, which I thought was smart, because food is, like, where a lot of your expense goes sometimes. And we didn't have to buy food. We actually got to sit in, like, this brunch area for our dinner / lunch, and eat with other people in this VIP program. I mean, it was expensive, but I think it was so worth the expense. I'm really glad we got talked into it. I'm really glad my mom was on board with it, because initially it was me that was not. It was just so smart. So we get home from Universal. We go to sleep. But before we get any amount of sleep, we are getting a contact high from our neighbors in the room next to us. It was funny. We had a real funny night. So we go to sleep, and then the next morning we get up and we go to California Adventure. And in California Adventure, a third of the park was closed. So that was not fun because of renovations to the pier. So that was not fun. We rode quite a few rides, but not as many as we wanted to. And I mean, it was a decent day. I'm not gonna lie, it was a decent day. It was just not what we anticipated it being, because we thought that we were gonna get to ride rides that we couldn't ride because it was closed down. This is the only highlighter I had brought with me, and it was the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Duo in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. This color here is my life lately. Like, I don't wear anything else right now. It's so silly. It wasn't a bad day at all. They moved the electric light parade that was over in Disney. They moved it to California Adventure because of Pixar Fest and whatnot. So we got front row seats. We were sitting right in the front row for that whole extravaganza, which was really cool. I got kissed by Nemo. That was awesome. It's on camera. That's really cool. So our motto for that day was, we're just here for the food, because a third of the park was closed down. So there wasn't a whole lot of rides that you could ride, and the wait times were crazy long because a third of the park was closed down. It just wasn't, it didn't work out so hot, but it wasn't horrible. We did have a good time. It just was what it was. So we did Downtown Disney that night and basically closed down Downtown Disney, did our shopping, and then the next day we came home. We had thought about a murder mystery party, but you had to have a party of 8, and we didn't. This is what happens when you talk and try and do your eyeliner at the same time, for me anyways. This side is pretty great, and this side is more of a circle. Whatevs. So we had a good time. I think that if I had it to do over again, we probably would have stayed in a different hotel. Mm-hmm. And I would not do an LA tour again. Just because I think there are far better things that we could have done with our time, and I did enjoy it, but at the end it was really weird and scary, and it's probably just because I am from small town. is whatever. But this is pretty much what I did with my makeup every single day. I didn't really do a whole lot. I'm only missing mascara that I put on. I took all kinds of shit with me that I really didn't need to take, but didn't really think about it until after I got there. And honestly, it took up so much space in my bag that I had to, well, the airline changed their sizing for carry-ons prior to us leaving. So I had to check my carry-on bag anyways. But it took all the stuff that I took so much space up that I was really limited on what I was able to bring back. But we had 3 different suitcases to put stuff into, so we managed it. My mom ended up carrying home in her bag a lot of my stuff because I couldn't fit it. I also took far too many clothes, but you know how that goes. Like, clothes that you pack today might not be what you want to wear while you're there. So you have to pack more than what you would wear so that you have enough that you have choices. Anyway, this is my look for my vacation. I had a really good time. I used stuff that's really like super simple to use. Didn't really get into a whole lot of what I took. Didn't really get extravagant with it all. I just didn't want my makeup application to take forever, so I stuck with things that are easy. I also, when I went, thought strategically about the things that I was going to take because I didn't want to take a palette that might break while I'm traveling that would cost me a lot of money to replace. So I did take, 3 of my ColourPop palettes because they're super easy to replace if they do break. I also didn't take a whole lot of stuff that was liquid, even if I preferred liquid, because I didn't know if we were going to have to pull our liquids out. Oh, so the grand finale of this trip, speaking of liquids that we might have to pull out, so we're all pre-check, right? And we're all pre-check and we're going through the security line pre-check and it's super, super fast in John Wayne Airport and in Santa Ana or wherever that is. And I get pulled for a random, put your hands up, X-ray security check. So they do that. I've got nothing. Nothing on me, nothing in my pockets, nothing. It's all nothing. There's nothing on me. I had checked my bag at this point. My carry-on was my purse, which went through the x-ray machine. My personal item was my little backpack where I packed all my makeup because I did not want any of it to get broken in there, throw my luggage around spot. So that was also on the thing. My my phone was on the thing. So I have nothing on me. Somehow, I get pulled for this random x-ray machine thing where you have to put your hands up, spread your feet, and ended up getting told I got to be violated. So they call this woman over there and she's like, are you sensitive in any area? I'm going to be feeling your crotch. That's where it shows you holding. And I'm like, me holding? What do you mean, am I sensitive? What are you talking about? She's like, I have to pat you down. And I'm like, oh, awesome. So I'm standing there in the middle of this little tiny airport with all of these people walking around me, getting frisked by this woman who is literally patting down every area of my lower half. She's like, okay, spread your legs. Okay. lunge forward like you're going to do a squat, but stay in your same spot. So I'm like lunging forward, and she is patting up my legs into my crotch, down my other leg. Then she wants me to do it with the other leg. Like, why are they allowed to do this thing to people? Like, they should take you into a separate room if they really think that you've got something in your vagina. I just don't understand why they thought I was holding something in my crotch. What in the hell? My mom on the way down elected to go in this x-ray machine, and her shoe is what tripped it. So she had to get violated as well. I just don't get it. So that was the highlight of our trip. My mom fell on her face, ran into the fall, actually. My daughter was scared to death. I think I bought a CD for $16 that has absolutely nothing on it.
Check that.
Nope, we haven't checked that. I think I bought a CD that has absolutely nothing on it, and we didn't get to do the murder mystery party, which would have been amazing, but I think we had elected, or had found out prior to going down there, that we weren't going to get to do that. But even still, I think that is in LA, and I don't think that we would have taken part in that. I forgot my lip gloss. I used the Buxom Dolly lip cream the whole time we were down there. But yeah. And then I got to be violated by a TSA person, which was fantastic. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed having a little chat session with you. I haven't done one of these in forever. So you got to hear about my trip before most everybody else got to hear about my trip. I didn't go back to work for a few days, and I'm super excited about that. I'm gonna just film some more, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you're not subscribed to my channel. Just subscribe before you leave today. I do post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or Sunday. I didn't get a posting up on Wednesday because I honestly thought I'd be back and filming prior to needing to pre-film and post for Wednesday. So this goes up today, and you're gonna get one on Sunday. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell if you'd like to be notified every single time I post. Thank you so much for joining me today. It means the world to me that you choose to spend moments with me, and I know that you don't have to. And until next time, guys, bye.